think a lot of people don't realize that we're all part of God, you know? We all have gifts. And we're meant, we're children of God and we're meant to communicate. And
Mhm.
we're all connected. We're all connected. So it's not that unusual, It's just that we screen it out. We spend like survival in this world, in our society, right here in the United States. It takes a lot of getting your focus off of the psychic realm because you have to focus like in the here and now, what's in front of you, task oriented, stressors, like crazy stressors. And that takes you away from your center.
So, most people tend to have some type of supernatural, paranormal sort of experience that wakes them up to a possibility that's outside their mundane reality, which is kind of how people find mastered teachers, wisdom teachers like yourself. They're looking for something outside of the box. They want to understand what it is they're experiencing. The question is always, why me? How me? Who me? Where do I go from here? So if you're having a moment like an individual gets blindsided, it may be they're getting a message from grandma, or they had a lucid dream, or maybe they have a sense that they just realized they never knew they had. What would you suggest as a teacher to be the first course of action for that individual when they come to you?
Well, I would first say that um there's a couple things. One is your guides are always correct. They're always going to put you on the right path, and it may not make sense. It may not be the logical thing that's in your mind you're getting, but your guides, even if it seems kind of crazy, they're always right. But you also have to check yourself. When you open up to spirit, you have to check your own vibration to see what you're attracting. Because the first decades of my life, at least 30 years, right? 30 years of my life, because it took me a while to work on my vibration. And I was opened up to everything, good and bad, you know? And it scared me. And I didn't get anything bad happen to me when prankster spirits would come in, or ghosts or whatever, things that, there was all kinds of stuff, but it scared me, it bothered me. And then I have a Catholic upbringing. And definitely I would push that away, you know? It scared me a lot. And I was already opening up because I'm an open person since I'm a toddler getting experiences. But you have to really check your vibration and make sure you're in a good place and what you're receiving is from light beings, from your angels, your guides, or even your ancestors on the other side. So if you're in a really usually these things happen like I'll say two ways. So one is you're in a really good place and you're calm. You might be doing a walk in the woods or involved in an art project that you love, or cooking, cooking this great meal, or just relaxing on the beach, right? And you'll get these visions or incredible knowing. You might get a solution to a problem that's been bothering you for the longest time, and it will become obvious. The solution, you might get it clairaudiently, you might get a vision, you might get a tapping in your tummy, and then the thoughts in your head will show you the reason. Um, and that's great. But also, if you're really vulnerable and scared, you know, if you've gone through some trauma, and often people, when they're reaching out to spirit, when they're reaching out to God or whoever, for help, angels, you're you're in a vulnerable place. You have to check yourself that you're not attracting any reason to be more of a victim in life. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you're really open. So that requires a steady practice. Now, some people meditate. Some people like me, we go for, I did meditation for years. I've been on, to India a couple times for extended periods of time, going up the Himalayas and going to all the holy temples and in the south as well. And, I've been on many spiritual journeys through traditional religions, whether Buddhism, Catholicism, Hinduism. Um, I found that nothing felt as centered and good and right as what I had naturally coming into this earth. So I came back to that because that's what felt good to me, and that's what centered me. So I would say you have to do something on a regular basis. It could even be listening to certain channels that bring you to a high vibe, like Bashar, Daryl Anka channels Bashar, Esther Hicks channels Abraham. And I find that just listening to those talks, they're high energy. They put you in a good place vibrationally. And then you're open to receive, like, because the higher vibrations, they need you. They need you to raise your energy up so they can come down and help you. And they need your permission. Obviously, if you're praying and asking, you're giving them permission to help you, right? And a lot of times people are like, how come my prayers are never answered? How come my prayers are never answered? The more stuff happens, I go, because you're focusing on the more stuff happening and going wrong. And the universe doesn't hear the word no. Or not. The universe is like, yeah, he or she is thinking about more horrible stuff happening. And that's all they focus on. We're just going to give her more. So you have to, and with that comes other types of spiritual beings, because there's more, like I do this for a living as a psychic medium and a channel. I do private readings for people. And when I do, like, especially the deep dives, when I do the deep dives for people and help them shift their energy and see what's coming up in their life, I, I'm in touch with a team, a whole team behind each person. So what I'm seeing and sensing through all my different clairs is that there's more on the other side than there is physically on this world by far. There's more beings. And that's the good news because, as you see, I mean, we're going through some difficult times here, right, in the world lately, and we need that help. So did I answer your question?
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, this is where it becomes problematic. People want to be channels, healers, mediums, clairvoyant, variable, sensory perception. I kind of put it under a blanket of sensory perception. That's how I've taught it for over 36 years. It's a conditioning. So for a Taoist alchemist, or alchemy that I use, that's been sort of trialed, tested, and proven for thousands of years, it's a handing of a rule set and conditioning that someone can apply, that evokes and burns in an alchemical process that would be more something in your mind that might be related to Harry Potter, until actualized it means nothing. So you
Yeah.
want a tangible ability that can be repeatable, because the jump off point from psychological profile to psychic requires a transfer and an embodiment where you have complete imperium dominion over the operating system, which is the conscious and unconscious process. So where we're going with this is, okay, all the things you're telling me, I fundamentally understand. For
Hmm.
me, it's a stretch, because at that moment they're just having one little taste of what we call a bite of the spiritual dragon, but that can't be repeatable. And so the biggest flaw, I think, in this space for people that are attempting to find themselves, is that there aren't enough teachers like yourself that can give more fundamental practices that make it repeatable. So you're not just having a psychotic break, you're actually awakening to your holiness, this
Yeah.
holy stream of oneness that is just the ability to access all things at once. And so that, to me, is really important, to find a decipherer, a translator of
Mm.
what someone has or is experiencing. And I mean, what you're saying is really profound for anyone that's listening to this, because these are all perhaps maybe even new ideas in their version of their reality that is subjective until otherwise noted. I mean, I think the biggest issue with most people is they have this fantasized sort of version of what's supposed to happen, and so when it doesn't happen like the movies, they get super disappointed. So the serotonin and dopamine levels drop to an all-time low. They become completely
Mm.
and depressed, and the discernment is not part of their ability to make sense. So all of a sudden, everything is shit. Everything sucks, and they're not getting the result. They, I mean, you mentioned someone like Bashir, and there is interest. There's interesting elements of information, and then, and quite frankly, someone who has been teaching channeling for 30 years and do it myself on a second by second basis. I think there's a lot of flaws in some of the information that he gives you, and that goes without saying on anyone.
With
But
any,
generally, the reflection is it has to be of a higher state of attunement for
yeah.
anyone. Like when I listen to you, I want to dive into the pool of wonderment that comes from the emanation of your embodiment, because it makes me feel real good. That charge you and I are getting right now is what we call psychokinesis, where we are now embodying this one attunement, and we're feeling and emanating it through the body. It's a visceral experience.
Yeah.
It's happening now. Probably yourself personally, I can see the energy, and if I tap into it, I choose to or not. But I mean, you are me, I am you. This fundamental boundary issue gets twisted on people. I think you have an incredible way of being so inviting to helping someone want to understand themselves, but you're also, your emanation and your frequency holds a resonance that makes it almost impossible not to want to follow what you're saying.
Well, thank you. You know what? I was thinking about what you were saying about the illumination um, type of experiences that, people are seeking, alchemical experiences. And, I have many abilities, but I've also had these intense visions, illuminations where, I mean, like you were saying, it almost feels like a psychotic break, except is when you're having these experiences that come out of nowhere. I wasn't doing anything to make them happen. They've come on suddenly, and sometimes they'll last as long as 20 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes just a few minutes. And they're profound. I mean, and when they happen, I mean, you are in touch with like the answers to everything, the meaning of life, and you're I mean, one of the most intense ones I had on an Amtrak train going home for Christmas. Um, and it was I had what, people, I don't know, some people would say it looks like the Akashic records and the near-death experience all in once, without dying. And I expanded my consciousness so much. not on purpose. It just happened. And I saw everything, past and present in my life, and all the connections and the silver thread. And I could just see spinning globes of movies playing, and I could step into them and see everything. And they would happen really fast, but I could slow them down if I went close. And I craved that experience again, and then I would go on these major spiritual journeys for a month, in India, and doing meditation for 2 hours a day for many years, because I want that. I want that again. And it didn't, and these were just gifts, from the universe. And but I wanted them repeatable. And
Mm.
I was yearning for that because I felt the connection, the knowledge, like what I'm seeking. And so there's one aspect of it like that, and those are special. And I have not figured out in all these years of searching, you know, how, I mean, I've even been naturally, because I remember where I was before I came to this earth. I've been naturally meditating since I'm a toddler, and astral traveling and working with chakras since I'm a kid, like 3 years old. But I would call it counting the colors and flying. I didn't. And my friend later said, "Oh, you know about chakras." I'm like, "What is a chakra?" You know. And she taught me and gave me books. And I'm like, God, this is what I already knew. And she gave me books on astral travel, all this other stuff, positive thinking. But so I have a lot of gifts naturally, and we all yearn for that, like that we're separated when we come here. And you want, like, God, you just want to be present and whole again. And when you have those moments, it's just like awesome. But I haven't figured out a way. I have searched for decades how to do that on demand for myself. I've never,
Welcome.
I'm
Welcome to the
welcome.
club.
I can only do my psychic mediumship, and my channeling comes through. That's a whole nother thing. And
Well, these
that
are, I
and
mean,
that helps people because it's repeatable, and I can teach them to use those gifts
mhm.
themselves. And then I've done some classes, workshops on clairaudience, because that's something most people already have a proclivity for. They can do it. They don't realize they have it.
Mm.
And then when they take the workshop, they're like, "Oh my God, it's happening." And they write to me. And I'm so happy. In fact, I'm going to do another one in November. In November 16th, I think I'm going to do a workshop. So you'll see that on my mystical page on my website.
Well, you see, you've been asking the universe for so long, eventually it decided to give it to you.
Well, the thing is, I wasn't asking the universe until I had a number of profound experiences, like really profound, that people think that you would have to take drugs for. I don't do
Well,
drugs or drink or anything. I'm a lightweight on that. And
well,
and
lucidity is what we refer to as complete dominion of the pineal, thalamus, and pituitary gland. These are the three treasures that we actualize. And when they're activated, they form an upside down triangle, which then accumulates an incredible alchemical process that draws from the field. The center point we refer to as the Taiji pole. So now you have an endless stream of this holy substance. It's eternal, immortal, it's forever, forever. It's magnetizing. The magnetic potential is unlimited. It goes beyond the transitory effects of yin and yang, which is a symbiotic dance of this material state. You're drawing from the same stream. You just have to be able to get to that stream and access it at will. I mean, I'm talking to you right now, and at the moment, I'm, 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 planets away. I can't even describe the planet that
oh, at
I'm
the same time, you mean like you're
doing it
in
right
couple
now.
dimensions?
Everything is a backdrop for me. So
Wow.
the backdrop is black. I'm
Mm-hmm.
This is what we call multitasking. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
hear a little bit of maybe Long Island, maybe New Jersey. I don't know whether you got a little bit of that going on, even though you're an East Coaster, but I can feel that as a potential. Is any of that surrounding your background?
Well, I lived in New York and worked there for 12 years.
There
And
you
I
go.
worked with a lot of people from Jersey and mostly people from Long Island and Manhattan, but so I think that will come into my accent a bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you gotta love it. The tribe is real. This is a verklempt moment of complete awakening. These are kind of like Yiddish words that they throw in there. If you're hanging around New York, you hear it eventually at some point or another. You cannot fight it, whether
Mm.
it's a part of your culture or not. It's just a part of the New Yorkism or East Coast philosophy that tends to bring you back to some type of roots. You
Mm.
know, I'm very much a fan of the Middle Eastern alchemy, and the Sufis and a lot of the stuff that comes out of that is really high end awakening that you can get into a state. I've never really come across any system that is comparable to the Taoist alchemy I teach, but Rosicrucianism is something that's similar. It has
Hmm.
aspects, some Gnostic sort of like potential, but none of these things are laser point or myopic when it comes to building the foundation. I think the biggest issue that most people have is they get the bypassing, because most of the students I have are Brahman, cosmic consciousness. They've arrived. I can
Mm.
mountains and hills and whatever, and then all of a sudden their superpowers start to diminish as they're driving down the street. Their hubcaps come off the wheels, and from an inverted effect, because we're dealing with that symbiosis. Yin is the absorption of all colors, yang is the emission of all colors, and your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to find that center point. And if you do, you will
What?
walk through it. You'll walk through the center point and realize that you are everything and nothing at the same time. But it's a condition,
Yeah.
that lucidity that you speak of, where you're having vivid. I mean, I'm doing it right now. Right now, I'm just feeling the sand of the desert in between my toes as I'm walking just a basic plane. I went from the surface of a planet right down to the desert. I'm walking here, and it's a visceral thing. So the outside effects, you being a teacher of mediumship and psychic abilities, there is a stream. So it's tangible and as palpable as it is, having someone in front of you. So I've got an 8K version of things that is in the background, and I am not 3 cents short of a dollar. Shout out to Crockett and Tubbs from Miami Vice. They used to refer to that as
Yeah.
I'm an 80s guy. So
Yeah. Me
you
too.
you do the Pepsi challenge. I'll do the Pepsi challenge with anyone on this. Is we'll take the taste test. There is a fundamental. So the more you and I are playing with this, the more I describe it, you are feeling into the visceral somatic effects of what I'm speaking of. It is a collective, unified, energetic potential, and it's like whether you're tapping into the exact stream that I'm operating in right now, you're feeling the energetic potential, and it's undeniable. That's the charge, the chill, the expansion, and it trips people out. I mean, this is just off to the races. This is how we start our day. We end our day with a mandate and a directive, but you must make it repeatable. I love the fact that you have mastered these very highly evolved, what we call yin potentials. And that generally comes from someone being born into this world as a female. You get an uptick on that, but it's not a guarantee that you're going to have these abilities and cultivate them. It's just there's a step off point where you're able to see beyond the material state and have access. Your development and creativity and cultivation is something that I don't need to tell you. You've probably been doing this for thousands of years, as far as I'm concerned. It wouldn't surprise me if you came up with that. Oh yeah, I've been doing this for many lifetimes.
It feels it. It feels it.
But the repeatable part is being able to zone in and phase in, right? So, the information is always the key, because you get a comeuppance, right? You talk about psychic. I do psychic. I call it psychic readings. It's basic. I just read the energy field and give someone their mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual state inside of 10 seconds, and they freak out. And they don't like it, because all of a sudden now someone is like, hang on, you don't know anything about me. How in Tao's name do you have any insight into who I am? Because you and I both know this information is just sitting there. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah, it can just look into it, and there's multiple ways to look into it. But I love teaching people how to access it themselves, you know? That's like the because you want to feel empowered, and I think a lot of people don't realize that we're all part of God, you know? We all have gifts. And we're children of God, and we're meant to communicate. And we're all connected. We're all connected. So it's not that unusual, you know? It's just that we screen it out. We spend like survival in this world, in our society, right here in the United States. It takes a lot of getting your focus off of the psychic realm, because you have to focus like in the here and now, what's in front of you, task oriented, stressors, like crazy stressors. And that takes you away from your center. And also, you have to learn to see differently. We don't just like look with our eyes, as we go in, we have our, like what you were saying, the different parts of the brain, the pituitary, pineal. But like I go back within, and since I have a background in photography for, many decades, and art as an illustrator, I see light differently than other people. And I can shift my lenses within me, because we really see with the brain, not the eyes. And I can work like a camera, my vision. And that's how I can tune in psychically to auras and to the energy blocks, like all the different little geometric patterns spinning around that translate into a block of thought and give me information about people. And it's all there, but you just have to learn to shift your focus and tune in. But if you're always focused on, like, you got kids, you got your parents to take care of, you got your job, you got to keep a roof over your head, you got maybe health issues, you're torn in so many directions. So no wonder people have a hard time. But it
Well,
is repeatable. It's okay.
it's your life, and you make of it what you choose to.
Yeah.
I mean, I have six kids between the age of 13 and 2 years old. And
What?
it doesn't alter my experience, but one way or
Wow.
the other whatsoever. And I teach them all these skills, so they're pretty highly evolved. Even my 13-year-old, who can just like instantly, like my favorite thing to do is to watch
Yes.
physical healings. So
Is to watch what? To watch.
to witness physical healings.
Oh my gosh,
So,
you're blessed.
well, I don't know about blessed, but I've seen anything you can imagine. A gangrenous
Yeah.
foot back to pink in color, bones fuse, gaseous seal, tumors disappear. These type of things are phenomenon for someone that is. And again, well, let's go right back to what you said. The only difference is how you can hold that charge. So if we look at
Yeah.
everything as a potential, that for Taoist metaphysics, it goes like this: the mother is the highest level. She is the primordial essence and the animation to consciousness. Consciousness is the animation to spirit. Spirit's the animation to energy. Energy is the animation to what we refer to the material state, which is the distortion of energy. And it's just a lower frequential state. So when we look at it like that, when you merge your attention and intention within the alchemical process, you evoke the spirit. So you're actualized. Your immortal self is actualized in a material state, and you're able to alter the material at will,
Yeah.
pulling tapestry, right? And so that's really where things get they pop off, because you have to just be able to hold the charge. The biggest fundamental issue, I think, and maybe you can tell me what you think, is when people get involved as healers, channelers, mediumship, psychics, all the rest of it. These are all aspects of self. They're different iterations of self that can be optimized and maximized at will if you're able to condition
Yeah.
this avatar in the material state, because the spirit is really operating through this operating system. Now you just need to be able to hold that spirit's charge and operate repeatedly. Most people cannot. And so the body tends to fall as the first indicator that you are way out of your league. So when people invert themselves, they get the ups, like, I'm Brahman, cosmic consciousness, I'm completely enlightened, I can access it. The first thing that happens is you access this charge. It's like, I want it. Oh, I got it. And then they can't hold it. So then things start to fall apart. So because you can't maintain
You mean like their body?
yeah, the
You mean their
body,
physical self?
their
Like
physical
health?
body will start, because you're absorbing. This is what we call yin, the absorption of all colors. You're now attempting to cage that in the flesh. If you don't know how to optimize that to activate it, the body as self, as mind, if you're a psychological broken person that looks at things in a separative state, you are going to find that the body will show you how mortal you really are. And so that's the immortality. You have to be able to saturate the body with that holy stream, that universal, eternal, immortal stream that will emulate and emanate the mother's essence. And so then you're able to then operate independently. I mean, I always tell people, your participation is not required. And people are like, what does that mean, Jifu? Well, it's quite simple. Your personality is your personality. Don't break it. Don't distort it. Don't attempt to virtue signal it. I like riding my side-by-side in the desert 100 miles an hour. I eat chocolate bonbons, and I still, unfortunately, subscribe to Netflix. That is not required for me to be in awe of a miracle, a supernatural event, which is a resonance that I'm just holding. I really don't need to do anything. It happens instantaneously. And I think that's where you're conditioning yourself to a level where you can teach people these incredible abilities, the psychic abilities at will. Just as another friend, and your new friend, all that is not anything else that you're in want of or desire as a different stream of another iteration of self is no different than any of those other conditioned techniques. So if you're like, oh my goodness, I had that lucid experience that was so crazy. I've never taken drugs before. I'm like that all day long, every day. Only I'm not broken in the sense that I can hold it without freaking out going. When it first happened to me 36 years ago, for 7 days straight, I had every thought, every feeling, every emotion at once. And by the third day, when you'd close your eyes and wake up and the shit is still happening, you go, you know what? I need an out. I will take my own life at this point.
Wow, really?
Of course, it subsided, and I was able to control the operating system. It's a node of information and energy that you're now basically regulating the physical body to, so that you can just hold it at will. And out of body is the biggest issue that most people have, because out of body is a misnomer. You're body centric. People become body centric instead of realizing that you are everything.
Yeah.
But there's this psychological separation. I honestly think psychology is a head screw, to be honest, because it breaks the person down as if they have to then identify that their thoughts are not part of the whole operating system. What they're experiencing is separate. Their psyche is separate. There's nothing separate. We're all one stream. You just have to now become the master keeper creator of that and beat down the things that are not cohesive with your operating system. So, servitude and selflessness just becomes an echoing of that universal objective stream. But on your way to that, you become a little disheartened because you're attempting to control and manipulate something that doesn't require your participation, that you already own it, you already are it, you are whole.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, or did I ramble a little bit too
No,
much?
no, no, no. Yeah, you're already that and you don't realize that. I totally get that. But the one thing I wanted to ask you is, like, I had to have heart surgery out of the blue recently, and I've always been really healthy. And now they're talking possibly an issue with my spinal cord. you know I have a lot of crazy stuff going on and breathing issues. It's been all at once, following, doing, keeping myself open, like doing tons of readings and opening up and keeping myself in this plane so I could do one reading after another. Before my trip, I had to go, and once I got on YouTube, people were booking me a lot, especially when I go on Linda's channel and things like that. So I had to cut back on what I do. Um, but I wondered if that affected my health when what you were saying,
Oh,
when it just, yeah,
absolutely. But it's not something that can't be reversed. You just need to condition yourself. Within Taoism, we have these three, we call it the trilogy: Jing, Qi, and Shen. These are the three components that are part of the operating system that works independently of your physical biology. So that once you actualize that and turn that on, it will hum. Like what
yeah,
happens is you form what we refer to energy centers as dantians. They're elixir field, right? This is
mm-hmm,
what the three major elixir fields within the physicality is: the upper, middle, and lower dantian. The lower
mm-hmm,
dantian holds the jing, the middle dantian holds the qi, the upper dantian holds the shen. Now, when you condition the body, everyone comes into this world, and I use the analogy of a battery pack. You come in with your constitution, what you are set up for, how you are going to be able to endure this experience from a humanistic perspective. What is your rule set? What is the rule set? So if it's a gene expression, we can alter that. If it's a thought process, we can alter that. Everything returns back to the holiness. You just have to condition yourself. So you want to have power, you want to have complete power and dominion over the 50 trillion cells that looks back at you as human flesh in the mirror. You can actualize those cells independently or collectively, and basically utilize the 0.007 millivolts of energy potential. This is an event that takes place. So your Jing, most people, whenever I look into the constitution of an individual, you start with about 80%, 80 out of 100. When you actualize through the alchemy, you bring it back up to 100, and then you go from 100 to 1,000, from 1,000 to 9,000, and you never tap into this ever again. It's never on the menu. So that means that you could literally start doing readings and go for days. Like I can go for days. I don't stop
mm-hmm,
because my physicality might say, hey, why don't you take a nap here or there, or
yeah,
as a sustenance, have something to eat. But the stream is eternal, immortal, forever. So when
mm-hmm.
you're doing psychic stuff, channeling, mediumship, all the collective, the things that you're really mastered at, if you're not balancing that so that it's never a stream from thyself, you will never ever. You're abundant, timeless, endless, limitless, infinite. There is no end to it. So when you start inverting it, you will tend to find that things are being morphed and distorted due to your operating system. Can that be altered and changed and reset? Absolutely, because you are all these things and nothing. You are absolutely perfection, what we call perfection manifest. So to bring that back to the center and then dissolve it to everything requires a conditioning. And so,
When,
respiration is the center point. Like the primordial mother and the breath are as one, and that is the gateway to your eternal, immortal self.
so when you're saying conditioning, would it be this? the same way as building, like, ability as an athlete. Like you do
Mhm.
more of it till you slowly bring yourself
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for you, you're used to it in the sense of, oh, I ingrain and fortify this psychic ability, whether it's clear audio, visual, whatever it is. You are using a path that you tap into from a resonance level, and you're able to repeat it. It's very natural for you. Like, oh, this is how
Yeah.
it works. These are the mechanics. Let me teach people this. Everything is the same. You just need to have the system, and you will feel it instantly, viscerally. That gives you an absolute aha moment. Your Sherlock to your Watson. Your deduction will be on point, and you will go, "Holy moly! This can't be this simple." Oh, yes, it is. And so you regain your true self through these alchemical processes we use, and it is. It's like I fundamentally, when I was aware of who I am or my relationship with my teacher 36 years ago as a teenager, it became very clear. I was like, oh, the lead up to that was embodying the system. And what people do is they bypass it and they go straight to the high level stuff, and they don't condition the body. So the body can't hold the charge forever. The body
Yeah.
will start to, the hubcaps start coming off. Now, the truth is when you really condition it, you know, within Taoism, we go 63 cycle. We do a 63 years. You hit 63 years, the next, you're now going to live another 63 years. Once you hit 126, you're going to live another 63 years. This is a
Mhm.
conditioning that takes place. And, through the Taoist canons, I mean, quite frankly, there is so much evidence where we have immortals that have lived well over 1,000 years. That's immortality crystallized in this material state. So, it all is a group think type of thing. Where we are collectively within humanity is death and destruction, repeat, rinse, and return back to the same cycle. And so you become a product of your environment. If you're not aware of incredible teachers like yourself or myself, you will just condition yourself into the misery, and it will just be, I wake up, I go to sleep.
Mm.
It's a 7-day cycle. I work to find relief in my life. The weekend comes, I fear the following Monday, and this continues until I either achieve a goal where it's some level of materialism, acquire a house, get married, buy a bunch
Yeah.
of different stuff, and then I die.
Yeah, it just feels dead and depressing. It just, to me, I mean,
It's like it's the same cycle, but quite frankly, it's just like, first time I ever saw your face. I can go straight back to that space instantaneously. Everything is repeatable. The love is always a constant. Being in love is always a constant. There is no limitation. So when
yeah.
people get, because this is no different than what you're teaching the psychic abilities, yet the truth is, this is across the board of your operating system. Everything has the same fundamentals. There is
Yeah.
no exception to the rule. And so
Even,
when you get
even dance. Yeah.
yeah, when you get painted in a corner, this is what happens. So yes, tell us more about the dancing alchemy.
Yeah, so I was telling you earlier, I'm a Middle Eastern dancer for like many decades. Now I'm just teaching. Um, but I work I work with alchemy, with the body, like really the chemistry of the body, the spiritual chemistry, and how it makes the outer world change because you've done something within. And I do that with certain students, not with everyone. I normally teach traditional Egyptian dance, but when I have my experimental group, they're into it. And everyone can tell the difference in the level of their movement because it looks celestial. And they knew these people already. And they'd say, "What happened to this experimental group? What are they doing? They've transformed so much." But what I love are the the inner and the outer transformations that happens in their life. But what I wanted to tell you is very much like you're saying you're in two places at once. Like part of you is barefoot in the desert, and then you're here with me on the StreamYard here on YouTube. And it is the same for me, like whether I'm an artist or a dancer or doing a psychic mediumship reading or cooking. Because my friends would be like, well, didn't you ever felt? I'm like, I can't do recipes. And I was like, oh my God, this food's so incredible. I said, yeah, because I was really into it. I could be the worst cook or the best cook, you know? And I do the same thing. I go into like an altered space while I'm physically present. I'm very aware of my physical presence, but I'm also stretching myself, you know? And sometimes when I'm like when I'm doing readings for people, I'm stretching myself, you know,
Mm.
to get to their guides, you know, because I want to help them because they paid me money and I'm like, I gotta come through for them. And I'm stretching myself and it hurts. It kind of hurts me, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's exhilarating, but you know, doing it for other people, it's a stretch, you know, and I have to really, you know, push,
And
work, you know, or
that's what Nigong will do. Nigong is like basically multitasking on steroids.
yeah,
So
multitasking on steroids. Yes.
and so the when you
Yeah.
alchemize yourself, Nigong is what we refer to as internal power, which is the alchemy that I teach people. The internal alchemy is Nidan. So through that pathway, you actualize your internal power, and you will never have that issue again. Like, you know, I mean, the most amount of people I've ever experienced in one point for healing, I've had 1,000 people physically, and you just connect them all, and you just witness miracles after miracles after miracles because they're all coming to the same event for the same reason. So it might be
Mhm.
physiological, it might be psychological, it might be spiritual, but the end result will be a wholeness, and that will return, and you witness it within a group of that magnitude, and it is absolutely epic.
Mm.
I mean, it's always
It's
amazing to
gotta
watch
be.
one person just transform like a blossoming flower. Yet when you watch 1,000 people do that, you are just it excites me even more. So, you know, for you, you're saying that you get a little stretched. This is where we just need to pour more foundation. It's like this is the side effect of your superpower is you have to be able to hold that in the avatar, and
Yeah,
it's an incredible access of source. Yet
it is.
if you don't condition the avatar, the hubcaps start coming off.
That's how
And
I felt with my health. But then when I do it with dance, or you know, it is hard when you're coming through for an illustration deadline because you're not. I know what you mean. Like you don't sleep, you don't eat, you just go, 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 and you're plugged in. You know, just plugged in, and you go and you know, and that's how I would be. And you know, the physical body can only do so much, and people be like, "How do you not sleep?" You know, I said, I'm working in a different dimension when I do this. I can feel it, you know, and it does take a toll on me when I would do those illustration deadlines because I'm physically not sleeping, you know, or really eating.
you got to
Huh?
you got to transmute it, and that's where the
Yeah.
foundation comes in. It's like you will never be lost. Like I have a dear friend of mine. I don't know whether you ever heard of his name. He's big in the world of OBEs. Have you ever heard of Tom Campbell before?
Tom, no, I've
Yeah,
heard
he's
of
part
T.
of
Colin Campbell. T. Colin. Oh, maybe T. Colin Campbell.
no, it's
T.
yeah,
Period.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Tom Campbell. So you know he was
He's
a
an
part
older
of.
gentleman, right? He's
Yeah,
an older.
he's about 81 right now. He was
Oh
part of
yeah,
the
I've watched him.
Bob
Yeah,
Monroe
because
Institute. Are you familiar with that?
Bob Monroe Institute.
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
didn't realize he was part of that.
He was the ground. He was everyone. He was the origin of this stuff. He was working with Bob Monroe for 30, 40 years. So
Wow.
so what it comes down to is I'll have a conversation with him, and the longest podcast I ever had was 7.5 hours, and there's no party break, there's no sustenance, there's no pause, and this guy will just be at it with a stream nonstop, and this guy,
Yeah.
it's another day in paradise, because that's when you have arrived, and you are unifying and emanating.
Yeah.
Embody this whole idea of embodiment is an idea until otherwise noted. You have to be able to repeat it, and so
Yeah.
for you, it's just a foundational thing. So when I give people instruction on training, it's like it's an A to Z. You go, oh, I do this, like a laundry list. Oh, I have to do, and then people are like, this is unfathomable. My mind is blown, because when I actually follow the instruction, it's a live embodiment where it's actually speaking to me. It's giving me a charge as I'm going through the laundry list, and as I apply it, whether it might be you're laying down, you're in a lying position facing south, and you're drawing in these elements, you call in this incantation, and then all of a sudden the whole body starts vibrating. These are all parts of the alchemical process. You want to be able to contain the energy, and you build an infrastructure that is palpable and tangible, just like your flesh. So the energy will run independently of you, no matter when you are aware or you are not aware. It is working. It's like having a washing machine in your stomach, and it will flow. And so that conjured energy can be replicated and used at will. And this way, there's no in between. You're not playing these games. Now, someone like Tom might say, hey, it's all part of the system. You need this to validate yourself. His version of the simulation theory, or his version of my reality, his big toe version, my big toe, is that everything is a video. Everything is a virtual game, that you are in a simulation and you are the main player, everything else an NPC. Listen, I'm up for anything, but I want you to show me. I'm a show me Pepsi challenge guy. And if you can't repeat it, and it's all theorized idealism and conjured up new age languages like physics or scientism, unless you can bring the receipts, it's kind of just yeah, okay. You're going to hang out with the collective. You, my friend, can bring receipts by showing someone something outside of the possibility of something that they're holding within themselves. How is it that you can access this information and show me? This supersedes any theory or science or any of this nonsense, because you're able to give someone an experience that is mind-blowing and that will make them contemplate what is reality and the purpose of it. And that's where the experiential moment comes in. And I think experiencers are the new version of someone that needs to hear this language, whether it's sacred geometry or science or binary sort of beats, a 0 and 1 perspective. It's another language. We all have that language, just like your language with your dancing. That's a language, man. That's an embodiment. That is a feeling that goes beyond the mind.
It is something. And that's the one thing that doesn't deplete me when I get split in different realms. And it's always ready to go, even like even when I'm like, I have these, neurological issues, nerve damage with my spinal cord, and throughout in 5 places. But I can go, like, it doesn't matter. Like, people be like, God, how do you do it? Because I go into my spiritual body. And that's how I got teaching my students about it, because I knew some things as a toddler, right? Where I used to work with the different frequencies. And then when I got it, I had 5 doctors tell me I'd be paralyzed the rest of my life. This is a while back. And I just didn't want to have the surgery. I may have to have it, who knows now, but we're just going to see. Everything's, having some weird stuff happen, but I'm good. But
well,
anyway,
I mean, if you're streaming it like that, only plug, you need to check this out.
what is that? Let me just get my glasses on so I can see.
That's my book on the primordial mother crystallized.
Oh, but
and that has 9 cultivational exercises that just runs a span. It's like 350 pages of goodness. You get a system and you go, holy crap, it can't be this simple. People are like, I just followed the system and my whole body is vibrating, and I just went and on an adventure I'd never experienced before, because it's a living emanation. And we use the incantation and the power of the word as a shuttled vehicle to alter the material. So the poetic flow, we refer to that as the rhapsody.
Poetic flow. Wow, that's what we do. I do with the body.
So the rhapsody is what we refer to as the remedy to this material state. So once you cultivate the rhapsody, you are now altering the material, and that's what that book was completely devoted to. And it's like living scripture. So people read it and they go, I got to a point, first chapter, and I'm high as a kite. I have no idea. I'm just like in the field of consciousness and I'm emanating it. Now, if you follow the actual exercises, all of a sudden, all bets are off. And people are like, why would you just put all this out in a book? Because that's as simple as that. It's like, if you just follow instruction, that's all you need to do. You don't have to go, well, am I worthy? Am I not worthy? Am I gifted? Am I not gifted? It's just there. It's already just all you need to do as a cultivator is accept within your heart that everything has already been created. And
Yeah,
then
it's
you apply, you will just instantly get it.
that's what I tell my dance students, that everything's already been created. You're tapping into divine design. It's not like you have to learn a million different dance moves. If I can get you into your spiritual body, it flows. I mean, I cry. I witness the most beautiful things from my students, and we witness each other, back, oh my God. And they can go from looking really awkward to dancing like a goddess.
I
And
mean,
and
this is
and the
just
only thing,
another iteration.
and this is like Middle Eastern dance is not easy, but if I get them into their spiritual body, if they can be aware and follow the flow and trust it, I mean, they trust me, and over time they trust me and they're like open for it. And when
What
they
made,
get those moments, huh?
what gravitated you to Middle Eastern dance out of all things?
I don't know. I've been dressing up like a belly dancer since I'm a kid. I mean, like
I mean,
my friend.
if you want to woo me, all you need to do is start speaking Farsi, and I will just disappear, my friend.
Oh, that I don't know Farsi. I
It's
used
like
to.
that is like my thing. You add that and the whole flavor, and I'm getting down with it because it is just absolutely potent.
I hear it's very potent, very poetic. It has richness in it. I learned Arabic a long time ago. I don't remember a whole lot of it because I haven't gone to. I used to go to Egypt every year for a few months. I almost lived there. I was hired for jobs there as a dancer, but at the time I bought my house, it didn't work out. So I didn't take those jobs, at the hotels and stuff. But I learned Arabic, but not Farsi. But I did work with, Persian, musicians and things like that. I had a rich history back. But but yeah, so yeah, when the people tap into the divine and they're beautiful, they don't look awkward, they look gorgeous. And they're always amazed, like, and they'll come in and out of it. And you can see when they're connected, you can see the light too. Some people, I teach them, some people are more open to their gifts. So while they're learning how to dance, work with the chakra alchemy within the Middle Eastern dance. It's like a little subset that I do with certain people. Some of the people I teach them to have psychic vision, to have the sight and to see the light and to see the energy as well. And there have been some students that will, and I'll say, okay, we're gonna like, I'll test them. I'll say, at which moment in the song did you see her lights go on? Because what will happen is with the student, when they are connected to the divine realm and their body, I mean, they light up, and you can see the light around them spinning and patterns and things. So I've been able to teach some of my students how to see it, and I'll be like testing them, like, okay, what moment did you see her that light when the light went on? And they'll know, and I'm like, yay, it's so cool. Like we can all see it together, So they have to it's like everyone likes to sing, I think. I mean, I'm not a good singer, I haven't developed it, but I wish. But maybe if I had spent time on singing, I could sing nicely. But I've spent my time being a really good illustrator and a psychic and a dancer. So I think it's like anything else. You develop it, you have to cultivate it. You have to water your garden, you have to tend to your seeds.
And yeah, it is that expression of self is so powerful, whether it's through the pen, the brush, the spoken word. It's all an iteration of self, and it returns to that holiness, and
Yeah.
that's one.
Yeah.
Magic. Magic.
Magic. Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole nother ball game. I teach people Taoist magic, and that's. I mean that would actually be. It's like cheating a little bit. It's actually very much like cheating. Sorry.
It
Because,
is. Why do you say that?
well,
Because
because
magic is
you're
a form of
actualizing
cheating?
something that would be, so distant in someone's probability chart, but you're actualizing it right down to the full stop because you're using the magic. And the
Yeah.
fundamentals of magic is returning everything back to whole. So
Yeah.
that holy stream will alter everything that you are attempting to or actualizing, because there's no attempts, it's a follow through. You actualize it, that means everything returns to whole. So the
Mhm.
only problematic issue with that is whatever you are crafting and creating within that magical stream, you have to be aware that when things turn back to whole, that the fundamental effects of a symbiotic duality is that some people may not want to witness their own holiness or experience it. So then, of course, the action or contraindication of that is they have to own their own shit, and so
Yeah.
it comes up. And so when they
That's a
look,
hard one for people. Yeah.
yeah.
But when you own your own stuff, you're empowered, you know?
Well, you and I understand this. I mean, we've been doing it so long as licks in the biological, humanistic expression of what we consider this reality. This is fantastic, but many people might get hit for a six, and they come up against a wall that just seems impossible to climb over. Whether it's
Yeah.
their version of astral projection, NBE, lucid dreaming, OBEs, whatever. I mean, they're all fundamentally separate. The biggest thing is for you to recognize that when you become centered, to actualize it, you must step through that. Because
Yeah.
if you become centered, you become body centric. So, body centric means that when someone has an astral projection, it's always the same fundamentals. I felt like the vibration, I left my body. I'm used to this story where I see myself outside of my body. So this is what I call first person, third person, no person. And as you do that, this is the processes. And I mean, it's very popular right now. Oh, we need to get into a sleep paralysis position where the body is not emanating any sort of life itself so that you can let the spirit leave. Now, the nonsensical part about that from someone from a perspective of you and I, for you to acquire psychic abilities, you're going 1,000% beyond that. So, people tend to go, oh, I want to experience this vivid lucidity that they don't even know what it's called. They're just like, I want to experience out of body. I want to know what
Mhm.
it's like to be beyond the material world. And it tends to always work in these types of phases because the Hollywood version has been handed to them. And if you
Yeah, that's
keep it
yeah.
right, if you're not able to phase into that, like that tangibility, then you're forever discontent and disheartened because guess what? It never happened that way. Because when you become actualized, you're not just focusing on the body as an iteration of self and emanation. You got beyond that and recognize you are everything. You're the cup. You're me. I am you. The camera, a cell phone. You are everything. Now that's just so convoluted for most. They're like, this is ridiculous. I can't wrap my mind around the idea. And I mean, I think it comes back to, and I mean, I'm not a fan of Oprah, but back in the 80s when she had a talk show and she had this guest on. She's like, oh, welcome back. This is the Oprah Winfrey Show. And I've got a great guest today. And she's like, I want to welcome to the show Deepak Chopra. And he's sitting there in the lotus position. And he's kind of chill. And, that's obscure. Even in the 80s, people are like, what is a lotus position? Anyway, he was sitting there on
Yeah.
the chair. And she's like, so Deepak, it's so great to have you here. How are you? And he goes, well, my body's here, but I'm not. I'm doing fantastic. And she
Ah.
went, I'll be right back after this commercial break
Mhm.
because that was just an
Too
offset.
much.
It was too much because the Eastern philosophy and cultivational practice even grinded out from many yogis that were coming from the East back in the 40s, 50s, well, even the 1920s, all the way up into the 60s, where Yellow Submarine and the Beatles were really playing with psychonautic abilities. This was more a Western realization. What is going on here? They're kind of a phenomena, and they're seeing all this weird crap that I don't even understand. And then you get exposed to things like Hare Krishnas back in the 80s, which is the only indication I had for meditation.
Yeah.
What do you know about? So integrating all these things and getting to this point, there was a fundamental universal groupthink, and you demystify that when you give someone a facet of their information that they couldn't possibly have handed to you, and you show them through that alchemical transfer. And you're like, hey, here you go.
Yeah.
And they go, holy moly, how did you do that?
And I'm
Well,
so happy to witness it and see them grow, It's such I'm like a proud mama every time.
so
So
what is the normal process for modules and training? If you're doing training with you, is it a certain a length of time or a system? How does it work for someone to get custom with your training practices?
so it depends on the training, like what you want to learn. So if you're learning dance, that's one whole thing. So you first have to learn a s if you want to learn it as a dancer, as opposed to just experiencing chakra alchemy and knowing your energy in your body. So experiencing chakra alchemy, switching weight, breathing, awareness, you could learn that one to one as a person is receptive and a blank slate. You have to kind of be a blank slate whenever you're learning anything. So that can happen in like an hour at a time in a private lesson. But if you're learning dance, you kind of need to be in a class every week for at least a couple hours. And then there's some of that chakra alchemy within it because you have to learn the form, the alphabet of the dance. But then if you're learning like clair audience or seeing auras or whatever, those are like specific workshops that I teach. And I had a lot of luck with people, they're like, an hour and a half each. And then they have a recording that they can revisit, and the principles are done. And then what happens is they can take again and they go to a deeper level because you learn it, but you got to kind of hear it. You know what I'm
Got to
saying?
embody it. You got to embody it.
You have to embody it, but sometimes you don't hear everything I'm saying, even with a recording. So a lot of times when let's just say I've learned, I would have channeled sessions with um, someone years ago. She's passed on, but she was amazing. She would channel her guides and they would have all this advice for me. And I could listen to that CD that she gave me 20 times and hear something different every time in that 40 minutes. And I'm like, how did I not hear that already?
I mean, you as a channel, you're a channeler, right? You are a
Yeah,
channeler.
I'm a channeler, but it's not like yeah, it just happens spontaneously with people. I get messages.
Well, yeah, I mean, for this is my observation, channeling for as long as I have been consciously, and I have my teacher Lao Tzu sitting there around the table with my other teachers, and I'm having a grand old time witnessing their transfer. They're as vivid and as clear as I see you right now, and I hear them the same way I hear you, and I
Yeah.
am crazy.
Well, I'm
It's the
channeling, it doesn't feel like someone else. It's like my higher self, like a really
Mhm.
wise, super wise part of me. And I'd be like, I would get this information, even for my dance students, they would ask a question and I would, it's the yearning brings it out of me, the yearning. Um, and they would ask a question and it would just come out of me and I'd be like, wow, that's profound, that's so wise, I never knew that. Like what
well,
I
I
would
mean,
say.
I mean, it's just like this. Everything is an iteration of self. So
Hmm. Yeah,
everything,
or the
you
big
are
self.
everything. So you
Yeah.
know, personally, Lao Tzu, my teacher, I've I he is me, I am you. I am him, he is you, you are me, we are all collective, we're all the same. But it's like, okay, so it's like I like the dialogue to the monologue. It excites me. I like that transfer of information where I have a
Yeah.
relationship
Oh,
with
yeah.
part of myself that is what would seem like a completely different stream of energy, but it's actually still me, even though I'm having a complete dialogue with Lao Tzu and he's tangible and I can hear his voice and everything else. It's just an extension of who I am. But that returns me to from the dialogue to the monologue of the mother, which is the eternal holy stream.
And it
And so
feels like
terrible. It's like playing. You're playing like a
it's
kid.
playing, but doesn't it
You
feel
act
like wholeness? Like wholeness when you connect? Doesn't it just feel amazing? Like,
Well, yeah, what I was going to say was the first time I channeled Lao Tzu, it was a lightning bolt and a visceral experience where I sat in a sauna, what seemed to be for 5 hours, and there was so much heat and energy emanating from my physical body. And people would just sit around with a stick and a marshmallow cooking them, whatever they were from the emanation. Now, this is just a general
wow.
rule of thumb whenever I channel him from a sense of operating system overrides my conscious mind, and I am now the tuning fork and catalyst to Lao Tzu as such. Now I can do medium versions where we're having a dialogue, I get information directly, or I could just channel the stream through the body and you are having a conversation with him as me as the avatar. It's all just very,
Yeah.
but I think what's interesting is I forget. I wouldn't even be able to, if it's not captured on a video or on paper or something like that
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
I'm not really aware of any of, whatever it is that he's saying is happening now. So when someone goes, well, I was with you when you channeled Lao Tzu last week. Well, gather that. I'm not going to go back
Yeah.
and ask him to review what he said last week because that was that node of energy and information at that moment. It's for you to experience. Then we're on to the next one. But as you know too, whenever you capture this digitally, it's forever. So
I
that
love that. Yeah.
emanation, you'll experience it instantaneously, whether you're witnessing it real time or it was in the past or the future. You're going to experience it. So
I always tell my clients, like, if we're not on a Zoom, because some people will book through a Zoom, but if we're booking through the phone, I said, because I'll do some psychic things, I'll do mediumship, I'll do just even card reading in the beginning. I'm just reading the cards in the beginning till I'm really connected. And I'll say, oh my God, I'm channeling right now. I'm not going to remember any of this. Please write this down. Because when I channel, it's always the best advice. And I won't remember a thing. I won't I won't remember anything, but when the channel comes through, that's wisdom. And that's not me. That's not the human me. That's not the
wow,
human me. I can't even conceive of the things I say. I said, you better write this down because I'm not going to remember nothing. Because people will ask me, what'd you say? I go, I was channeling. I don't remember, please, so and then sometimes when I'm doing like my own YouTube channel, when I'm doing some readings and things, I'll watch myself because sometimes I just like I want to hear what I said because I found out that people will ask things and I don't remember saying any of it. So I've played my videos and I'm like, oh my God, I'm channeling. I didn't even know any of the stuff I was saying.
yeah,
And it's so wise. It's like I'm not that
that
wise.
I mean, that's it. I mean, I always remind people I'm as smart, I'm as dumb as a bag of rocks, but I seem to look smart when emanating the source of information from
Yeah.
what I refer to as the source. And that's where the poetry is so powerful. That is
Yeah.
like you turn everything into putty, where you can just mold and shape it in any way. That ancient form within Taoism as the Rhapsody is really where you capture it, and it's wild. I mean, honestly, even that book that I showed you, I can't even remember. It's got tons of poems in it. I wouldn't have a clue what they were. I mean, if I
Oh,
look,
that's so
if I
beautiful
look
that
at
you
it right
channel
now,
poetry.
well,
I'm
yeah,
j- oh, I'm envious of you channeling poetry.
well,
Wow.
I'll give you one that I can't even remember. Here we go.
Okay.
just for fun. I can't.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Here's one. It doesn't even make sense because, and when my mother sits there and watches, because I transcribed 5 books at 300 pages apiece from Lao Tzu within 48 hours. And that's how it goes. That's, how it goes, my friend. I don't need to tell
I
you.
do. Yeah, I do. You want
My
to get
mother's
when you
like,
get in the zone.
you can't make this stuff up. But my mother's like, you cannot make this. How do you just gets completely blown away? I mean, here's one. Ringing of softness. Don't you want your sense of self, your sense of nothing, your sense of everything, returning to the wholeness of this very moment as you pause inward? Reflection or virtue? Virtue that cannot be found in the piece of fruit that you hold in your hand, as you crush with your might, as you squeeze it for the nectar, as you taste it, as it bleeds back into your soul. Find that you never have left the very place of creation, the place of solution, the place of honesty. Honesty can only be found when you fall. For the poise, the noise, the reflection of what you consider loyalty and forgiveness are from the same stream of regret. Regret comes from completion. Regret comes from creation. Regret comes from rebirth. As you open your eyes for the first time, the first breath will show that you have never left, that your tears of loss, that your first step will pause you, will hold you, will harm you, and this will remember that you are absolute. This is for you. This is for all. This is the truth to all things.
That's beautiful. I love the fruit metaphor. That really gets right in. You can feel that.
I can't even remember. I mean, as I was reading it, I was enjoying you getting high as AF as it's pulsating through your emanated self, and it comes out in a union. And this is where this stuff is alive. For me,
oh yeah, yeah.
I don't even remember that even coming up. It's like, okay. But it becomes so crafted because it builds on itself. Just like when you go, okay, I'm giving you a slice of the psychic buffet. As a dear friend of mine, Julie Ryan, who's like a sister to me. She's a medical intuitive and psychic that we're like family. She calls it the psychic buffet. I think that's exactly what you share. Is a psychic buffet.
It sounds like you've watched my channel a bit. How did you get to know me? I mean, it sounds like you didn't just see me once and brought me on. What?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Because I just read the energy. It's like either
you read the energy.
You're either holding the resonance or not. And if you're not, then it's not. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
You have to be. I don't have to trust into anything or contemplate it. I know. I go beyond the knowing to the wisdom, as you put it. You instantly that you're holding a resonance.
Thank you.
You're emanating that resonance. And so that's why the conversation is so powerful, because we're able to embody that and share it with the audience. And that's where people get really excited, because they're having that.
Well, I am excited myself to share with you. I really appreciate it. And there's so much I want to tell people, because I have, visions of 2 sons in the future. Like, sounds crazy, but when I started to post my visions of 2
And you're
sons.
really going to ask the question, does it sounds crazy? Really?
Well, okay, you're right. No, well, some people, we'll just say my friends. So I'm opening up. Anyway, when I did post about those videos, I found out so many people had the same vision. And I know I have a lot of things that also came true, like even with the pandemic, I had so many things, and there's more in the future. And I want to share that with people. It's just that right now, I'm still recovering from heart surgery, and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling like, oh, I gotta like lay down. But I really appreciate you reaching out to me and bringing me on and having this discussion about energy, because I'm an energy junkie, like that's all to get into the heart of things, getting in deep, getting beyond the physical. That's what I love. And I love that you experience that being in two realms at once or being in multiple dimensions at once. It's a place I often live when I'm happy. I mean, maybe when I stretch myself for clients, it's a little harder, but when I'm dancing or, teaching dance, even I can be in two realms at once. It's amazing. Even three. I'm amazed. It's like I'm in such a high. I love it. And sharing that with people. So it's nice to meet someone else who experiences that. It's not something my friends can relate to. So it's great.
So, with this incredible conversation, we have come to the end of the road. So, with that, I'm going to put all the social sphere and interweb under this
Oh,
podcast.
yeah.
And I want people to go out. I want my students, disciples, 126s, and subscribers to go out and experience what Najia, is it Najia? Say it well.
Naja or Najia, either way.
Najia is
Najia.
offering as a holy stream of empowerment that she teaches through her wisdom and everything that she brings to this earth plane as potential, as you will remember who you are through her teaching.
Yes.
And so, with that, I want you to just share. So, you do one-on-one sessions, you do
Workshops and
workshops
classes.
and classes, and you can find this on your website
Yeah,
or
bealivinggoddess.com, BeALivingGoddess.com. And if
Mhm.
you're looking for dance, that's one thing. You can look for mystical is all the psychic things. And there's a lot of fun. And then if you're in the Philadelphia area, by some miracle, because actually there was a couple people that came to see me in person. When I do events, I don't bring people to the house for psychic readings, but I do special events at these old historic places. So, and there's a good energy in these buildings, and with the people that are there, the actors and actresses who do historical, costuming and showing people things. It's such a good vibe, and that's what I'm all about. Good vibes and connection to all it is. And you know what? Remember who you are. When you were saying when people remember, that was one of the things, one of my first clairaudient experience was my guides verbally, loudly, softly, sweetly also saying, but, physically right outside my ear, remember who you are. And I'm like, what's going on? And I needed to hear that at that time in my life.
No,
And they
no.
said it again and again, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm at work and this is happening, like quiet
Also,
moment at work.
don't you have a YouTube channel? Do you want people to
Oh
follow
my
you on
God,
YouTube?
yes. Yes, the Dancing Oracle with Najia. And you can find all my links there in the description box of my channel. And we have a lot of fun on there. There's a lot goes on. There's a lot that goes on in my channel. And I have collaborations. Maybe you'll come on I don't know if you go onto other people's channels.
I'm always open to this conversation because
Okay.
this is what really makes it. It only takes one person to be evoked and to be actualized from our conversation, and that's what happens because the
Mm.
potency of our collaboration today has been epic. I love it. It's awesome, and all the people that I'm familiar with in my stratosphere, they watch these interviews as an experience because that's what it is. And
Yeah,
so anyone that's even slightly aware is going to be blown away by this
they'll
conversation.
bring in the vibration, they'll bring in the good feelings. It alters your chemistry inside. So it makes you feel like awakened a little more and more.
Yeah.
So even just that helps.
But I am going to offer not just contemplation, but a very deep curiosity that's necessary for people to come and find your teaching and to help them return to the softness and the true nature of who they are from this very
Mhm.
moment. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful, it's so evolutionary and whole the blossoming of their heart as they fall into the beauty that you share and emanate as self in this version of reality.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to connect with your audience. I'm looking forward. I will listen. Whenever I visit someone else's channel, I read every comment. And I'll try to answer. I have some hand injuries I'm dealing with, but I'll try to answer every comment that you have, or at least acknowledge it. So I'm really good at that because I think connection is important.
Very, very important. This has been epic, my friend. I'm very grateful for you and everything that you share. And then just reuniting this frequency, this bond that you and I both know that's been sort of echoing probably for many, many lifetimes, but it's very clear, it's very familiar, it's very comfortable, it's very nurturing, it's wholeness. And that goes beyond words.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Here's how I send off people on my channel. Welcome them in and sometimes send them off if I didn't do that in the beginning. Just the beauty of the bells, the vibration.
Yeah, we love that kind of all these types of little tools and toys. And 81-inch gong behind me, and
look at that.
Got like 200 over 200 gongs, 200 singing bowls.
You do? Oh my God.
Yeah, that's always exciting to add a little flair there.
So you must
pull on it.
You must do sound baths. Do you do sound baths for people?
Yeah. I mean, I have a retreat center out here, so I always like collaborating with people where they come out with their mastered skill, and then we integrate it into a 2-day workshop, and people just get lit up, and it's a life transformational experience. Out in the desert, it's a completely different transformation as necessary, because most people are deterred by the harsh element of the desert itself, but it's actually the most moist and the nectar to true self through this relationship of the mother. And the more you bleed into the actual desert itself, you'll recognize it is as luscious and as supple as any other version of yourself. You just have to recognize that the potency is already created. And people don't realize, they're like, holy moly, I had no idea this is like this oasis. Yes, it is. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check out all your information fully. Thank you.
Yeah. This has been fantastic, my friend. I'm very grateful for you. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
My pleasure.
I want to thank the universe for bringing you into my life. I want to thank the audience for sharing their time with us today.
Yeah, thank you for watching.
Yeah, I am your humble servant and seafood, Taoist Master SAN Qing, and I'll see you in the next one, guys.